My name is Dr. William Lee, and before I became a physician, before the research, before the medical conferences and the published studies, I was a grandson. My grandfather was 71 years old when he started complaining about his legs. Not pain exactly, more like heaviness, a coldness that wouldn't go away even in summer. He would sit in his favorite chair by the window and rub his calves slowly, the way you rub something you're worried about losing. We didn't understand it then. We thought it was just age. We thought that's what getting older felt like and things slowing down, fading, becoming less. He passed away 3 years later, and it wasn't until I was deep into my medical training that I learned the truth about what was actually happening in his legs during those final years. The truth that changed everything for me, and the truth I'm going to share with you today. Because what my grandfather had, what millions of seniors are experiencing right now as they watch this video, was not simply aging. It was a specific, measurable, and most importantly, reversible problem. And the solution? It comes down to one vitamin, one that most people have never even heard of in this context, one that is almost certainly not in your current supplement routine, and it is not magnesium. It is not vitamin D. It is not vitamin B12. I know those are the ones everyone talks about, but after 25 years of studying vascular health and circulatory science, the answer that keeps coming back, and the one that the research keeps pointing to, is something different entirely. Stay with me, because by the time this video ends, you are going to understand your body in a way most seniors never get the chance to. You are going to know exactly what has been happening inside your legs, and you are going to know exactly what to do about it. If you find value in what I share here, I want to ask you one small thing before we continue. Press that subscribe button right now, not later. Now, because every week I bring you research-backed information that your doctor may never have time to explain to you in a 15-minute appointment. This channel exists for you, for seniors who deserve real answers, not dismissals. Subscribe. And if you know someone whose legs have been bothering them, a spouse, a sibling, a friend, share this video with them today. You might change their life with one tap. Now, let's talk about what's really happening inside your legs. Inside every leg, you have arteries carrying oxygen-rich blood down from the heart and veins carrying the used blood back up. This system, when it is working perfectly, is like a perfectly flowing river. But as we age, several things begin to happen. The walls of the blood vessels lose their flexibility. They become slightly stiffer, slightly narrower. The tiny muscles that line those vessels and help push blood through become weaker. And a protein, a critical protein that your body produces naturally, begins to drop to dangerously low levels. That protein has a name, and that name is matrix GLA protein, MGP for short. And here's the thing about MGP that almost nobody tells seniors. MGP is the body's natural defense against something called vascular calcification. That is the process by which calcium, the same calcium that's supposed to be in your bones, instead deposits itself into the walls of your arteries. It hardens them. It narrows them. It slowly turns what should be flexible, living, responsive vessels into something closer to rigid pipes. And when your leg arteries calcify, blood cannot flow the way it should. Your legs feel cold. They feel heavy. You get that tingling, that numbness, that exhaustion after just a short walk. And here's the most important thing I will say in this entire video, so I need you to really hear it. MGP cannot do its job without being activated. And it can only be activated by one specific vitamin, vitamin K2, not K1, not just KK2. There is a critical difference that most people, even most doctors, do not fully understand. Vitamin K1 is what your body uses for blood clotting. It's in leafy greens. Your body probably has enough of it. Vitamin K2 is a completely different molecule with a completely different job. Its primary function in the cardiovascular system is to activate MGP, to literally turn on the protein that protects your artery walls from calcification. Without enough K2, MGP sits in your body inactive, useless, like a smoke alarm with no battery. And without active MGP, calcium deposits into your arteries silently, slowly, year after year. A landmark study published in the journal Atherosclerosis found that people with the highest intake of vitamin K2 had a 52% lower risk of severe arterial calcification and a 57% lower risk of dying from cardiovascular causes compared to those with the lowest K2 intake. 57%? That is not a small number. That is the difference between legs that work and legs that don't. That is the difference between independence and dependence. Another study, like the Rotterdam Study, which followed nearly 5,000 people over 10 years, found that those who consumed the most vitamin K2 had significantly less arterial calcification and significantly better cardiovascular health outcomes. And these were not young people. These were adults in their 50s, 60s, 70s, people whose bodies were already dealing with years of inadequate K2. But here is where the story gets deeply personal again. Because after my grandfather passed and I started connecting the research to his symptoms, the cold legs, the heaviness, the poor circulation, I went back and looked at what he ate, a traditional diet mostly, very little cheese, very little fermented foods. No natto, that's the fermented soybean dish from Japan that contains the highest concentrations of K2 in any food on earth. He probably consumed less than 50 micrograms of K2 per day his entire adult life. The research suggests we need between 100 and 200 micrograms daily for adequate vascular protection. He had half of what he needed for decades. I'm not saying K2 alone would have saved him. Medicine is never that simple. But I believe with everything in me that he would have had more years, better years, and that is why I share this with you now. So let's talk practically. Where do you get vitamin K2? The richest source by far is natto, fermented soybeans, which contains between 850 and 1,000 micrograms per 100 grams. Many people in Western countries find the taste challenging. That's okay. The next best sources are hard-aged cheeses like Gouda and Brie, which contain meaningful amounts of a form called MK7, egg yolks from pasture-raised chickens, dark chicken meat, some fermented dairy products. The problem is this: unless you are specifically eating these foods regularly, and most American seniors are not, you are almost certainly not getting enough K2 from food alone. And this is where supplementation becomes genuinely important. The form you want is MK7, not MK4. MK7 stays active in your body far longer, like up to 72 hours compared to just a few hours for MK4. Look for supplements containing 100 to 200 micrograms of MK7 daily. And always discuss with your doctor before starting any new supplement, especially if you are on blood thinners like warfarin, because vitamin K in any form can interact with those medications. Now I want to pause here, because I know some of you watching right now are thinking, I've had leg heaviness for years and nobody told me about this. And you might be frustrated. You might even be angry. And I want to say that frustration is valid. The medical system is stretched thin. Appointment times are short. And K2 is not something that gets discussed in 15-minute checkups about blood pressure and cholesterol. That is exactly why this channel exists. If this information has already opened something for you, if you're thinking about your own legs or someone you love, please take 5 seconds right now and click that like button. It costs you nothing, but it tells YouTube to share this video with more seniors who need it. And subscribe if you haven't already. Every week I bring you this kind of research explained clearly because you deserve it. Let me tell you about Margaret. Margaret is 68 years old. She came to me, not as a patient, but through a letter she wrote to my research foundation. She told me she had been experiencing cold feet and leg heaviness for 4 years. Her doctor had checked her circulation and said everything was within normal range. She was told to walk more and take calcium supplements. She took the calcium religiously, every morning, for 2 years, and her legs got worse. You can probably guess what was happening. The calcium she was taking, without adequate K2 to direct it to her bones, was depositing into the walls of her leg arteries. She was, without knowing it, accelerating the exact problem she was trying to solve. When she learned about K2 and started supplementing with MK7 while stopping the unnecessary calcium, she wrote to me again 6 months later. Her feet were warmer. The heaviness had reduced. She could walk to her mailbox and back without needing to sit. She cried writing the letter. I cried reading it. I want that for every person watching this video. I want you to have that moment where your body starts working with you again instead of against you. Because here is what I need you to understand, and this is perhaps the most important thing I will say to you today. Poor leg circulation is not a life sentence. It is not simply what getting old feels like. It is often a specific nutritional deficiency driving a specific biological process. And that process can be slowed, and in some cases partially reversed, when you give your body what it actually needs. Your legs carried you through your entire life. They walked you to school, they danced at your children's weddings, they stood in every line and climbed every staircase and carried every weight. They deserve to be cared for with the same seriousness as your heart, your brain, your lungs. And yet leg health is the most overlooked area of senior wellness in modern medicine. That ends today, for you. Right now, here's what I want you to do in the next 24 hours. First, write down 3 things. Natto or aged Gouda cheese to add to your diet. MK7 is the form of K2 to ask about. And the words vascular calcification to bring up with your doctor at your next appointment. That's it. 3 things written on a piece of paper can be the beginning of a real change in how your legs feel 6 months from now. Second, if you are currently taking calcium supplements without a clear medical reason, ask your doctor whether you actually need them. Many seniors take calcium out of habit or general advice without realizing that unnecessary supplementation, especially without K2, can work against their vascular health. Third, share this video. Please, I'm asking you directly. If you have a friend who complains about cold feet, heavy legs, or who has slowed down their walking without knowing why, send them this video. Text it to them right now. Not because I want the views, but because this information could genuinely change the trajectory of their health. And in my experience, the seniors who share information like this with the people they love are the ones who build communities of healthier aging together. You being healthy inspires others to take their health seriously too. And if this video helped you, if something shifted in how you understand your own legs, I want to hear from you in the comments below. Tell me, did you know about vitamin K2 before today? Tell me where you're watching from. Tell me about your legs. I read every comment, every single one, because you are not just a viewer to me. You are the reason I make these videos. Before I close, I want to come back to my grandfather one more time. He sat in that chair by the window and rubbed his calves and never knew why they felt the way they did. He never got the explanation he deserved. He was told it was age. He believed it, and he stopped fighting for his legs. I make these videos because I don't want that for you. I don't want you to sit in a chair and accept heaviness and coldness and slowness as the price of growing older. You have more options than you have been told. You have more power over your own body than the medical system often has time to explain. And you deserve someone who will take the time to explain it. That is what I am here for. Every week, for you. Subscribe to this channel right now if you haven't already. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss a video. Because next week, I am going to show you the specific morning movement that cardiologists use to manually push blood through stiff leg arteries. It takes 4 minutes. You do it in a chair, and the results for seniors with poor circulation have been remarkable. You do not want to miss that one. Until then, take care of your legs. They have taken care of you your whole life. It is time to return the favor. I'm Dr. William Lee, and I'll see you next week.